Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Power Training. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Chad Edward, and we're going to be talking about some of the interesting things that he's come across because he was just telling me a little bit about it, but I wanted to record it so that other people can hear what he has to say. So, Chad, why don't you jump in and tell me what you were just talking about? It sounded very, very interesting.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find the guy's name on my um text here. A lot of people send me these things every day. And even though that this one was recorded a year ago, it has everything to do with what's happening right now on the planet. And it involves Trump, Putin, a lot of the players, a lot of the names you're gonna see. If people want to go into it, okay, it's called A Warrior Calls, a special series. The guy's name is Boyd Anderson. He was a
Boyd,
hockey Anderson. Yep. He played for the New York Rangers for a while, professional. But when before that, he played for from Canada. He played for some team up there, and he got 5 goals within 3 minutes, 7 seconds. Supposedly, it's almost an impossibility to do that. The only person probably on the planet that's ever done that. And he tells this story because, we're all here for certain reasons. We have missions. We're who we are for certain things. Okay. The creator puts us here, and it seems like he had a hell of a mission. If you listen to his story, again, it's only a story, but I don't think he could have made this up either. The people who he met in his life, what he went through, it all has to do with Bitcoin, the start of Bitcoin, what they're doing now, those planes, the Malaysian flight 370, where all those scientists went down. Okay. Um, I'm only going to give you little tidbits, but you guys watch this. This is part one, I think, in a series done a year ago. And this guy lays some big nuggets. Okay. Gold
oh, it's
nuggets.
called a warrior's choice.
Nope, nope, nope. A warrior calls.
A warrior calls. Is that
Yep.
on YouTube?
Nope, not YouTube. Sorry, it's on Odyssey. ODYSEE.com. Odyssey.com. Someone sent it to me this morning at about 10:50. And I try and keep up with these and just put them in the background, listen to them while I'm working, doing things. And I started listening to this guy. I got interested in his hockey career to begin with, and then amazing what he talks about, the people he met in his journey, like healing devices. I'm into, as a healer, as a naturopath, I'm into a lot of these healing devices, and he had a quantum healing device he was selling. He went to Dubai, sold some things there, met these so many interesting people, bankers, people who started Bitcoin. Now, what's going on now? I'm saying pay particular attention to the gold that's in Thailand. They had like I don't know how many tons of gold hidden there, and he weaves everything in this. Well, let me see if I can see how long the presentation was. I'm going to pull it up. It was done a year ago, and it looks like it's 1 hour and about 5 minutes.
And you
So
say it's relevant to what's going on today?
yes,
And in
yes,
what way? What's
crashing the economy,
okay.
crashing Bitcoin, and what they've done. And you're going to see some of the people he says were involved. Again, this is hearsay, but the way he tells it, he can't make this story up. I can't make this story up. It involves Trump. It involves Putin. It involves a lot of big players in this game. What's happening now, the planes that got downed on the flight 370, you were a flight attendant for United. Okay. They had two of those exact planes, and one was MH 17. They used both of them, but then they had three other 747s. So they had five planes to work with. And the other planes, the 747s, were taking all this gold out of Thailand. And the taxpayers paid for all this. Uh, you guys, you got to watch this. It's
Oh,
only an hour long.
fascinating. Where did they
Oh, yeah.
take the gold? Where did they take it? To Fort Knox?
The, no, the gold went to Australia, I think. Okay.
Oh,
And it was old, ancient gold. Okay. They got out of Iraq, I think, at one time.
hmm.
It's, 99 point something percent pure. And they brought it to Australia to a smelting place, like a forge, because once this gold, even though it's old coins, okay, going back thousands and thousands of years, I don't know how they got this stuff, but it shows you in the videos. Um, what happened was once it's forged and back in block form or ingots or whatever, there's no tracing it. Okay.
Right.
So they couldn't trace this gold once they brought it to Australia on all these 747s.
Well, what do they plan to do with it?
Well, they bought a lot of Bitcoin. One of the guys bought a big villa in somewhere, Bali, Thailand. He names names. He's got pictures of these people.
Well,
Oh,
is he saying these people are basically they stole the gold, they're crooks,
yes,
or yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And they had to launder it. So they were laundering it with Bitcoin and other things. Oh, honey, you got to watch this.
So what is he talking about? Relevant to what can we expect? You're saying the economy. A lot of people are saying the global economy is going to collapse, but I can't quite fathom that. Only because the chaos would be so out of control. I say I think there's going to be a transition, but softer than just a big crash. That's
Yeah.
me.
Well, we have, they say GPMS, Nasara, Jasara, all these things they're trying to put together so to make the reset um, like a smooth landing
Right.
instead of a crash, right? So I don't know. I don't have all the, I just get bits and pieces of things, and it was supposed to happen last year. It was supposed to happen a year before. It's supposed to happen by March. I've been hearing this for years. So
Well, we keep hearing this the good story where, yeah, everybody will be happy, but then there's the bad story where everybody might get a chip and be completely monitored for the rest of their lives, and that wouldn't be a good thing.
no,
But you never really hear definitively what is going to happen. It's always a guessing game.
yeah,
So I don't really worry about it. I don't stress about it. Now I
no,
know you like me, you've studied a lot of metaphysics. There's an awful lot of people out there right now that are very stressed because they don't know what end is up. They don't know who to believe. They don't know how to find the answers. They don't have any
well,
peace.
there's a lot of good books out there. As you know, you studied Christian Science, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy for 50 years. I've been
Oh, dear.
studying it for probably over 30 years. That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't really teach you how to breathe. But, in my experience, learning Kriya Yoga by Yogi Raj, and you've seen one of my gurus from India, it's all in the breath. One of Don Tony's books, we just put out last year called Universal Everlasting Life. It's on Amazon. Donald M. Tony and Babette Tony, Toney. It's all about the breath and learning because before he passed away, he told me this is coming up. And he says, you have to learn how to breathe to control what's going to go on this planet, right? Because it's going to get pretty bad. Or like, I don't know if you ever met Gail Mack. We do things with Mary Hardy and the Templars
I
and
did
the
meet
Marys.
Gail. She came to
Yeah.
the Newport Tower. We went
Yes,
one day and meditated.
right. So you met Gail. Her book is The Spiral Breath. Very good book that, again, teaching you how to breathe.
Hmm.
There's a lot of different methods. There's more than 50 roads that go to Rome. And I tell people that learn one of them, get into the breath so you can calm your nerves down. Um, something happens on this planet, you're going to need to learn how to do this stuff, or you're going to go crazy, have a nervous breakdown. And remember, this is all an illusion. It's all a dream.
Well, that's the
And
other fascinating thing when you really dig into the metaphysical teachings.
mhm.
You
You
learn
met
that
Don Tony. Heard him say
it,
that in the car.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
he was very, very interesting, a very awakened being. We met him out in Mount Shasta.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, McLeod.
yeah.
He went there to watch one of his students, Ralph Ring, speak. And then we stayed at the same hotel. No coincidences. There's no, it's, people say, oh, well, that's, strange coincidence. No,
No, Ralph
it was
Ring
meant
was
to
part
happen.
of the space program, correct? He was a,
No, Ralph Ring worked for Otis Carr Laboratories. Ralph was, he did a lot of other things, but he was very spiritual. Ralph got it. If you look at some of my YouTube videos, I did a video with Ralph and Masha, his wife, before Ralph passed away. He just passed like 2 years ago. And Otis Carr was Nikola Tesla's protege for 3 years in New York. Then Otis Carr went to California, started Otis Carr Laboratories. This is all fact. You guys can look this stuff up, Google it. And he started making these little ships, spaceships, okay, that levitate, go around. Then he started making bigger ones. He made three bigger ones, like 50 feet, okay? And three guys got in this one day, and all of a sudden, now there's no controls. So Ralph's there. He might have been the head pilot. I don't know. I have some audio tapes of he and me in the car speaking. It's probably on there too, and I just forgot what he told me. But three of them got in. They were like a second later, they time traveled. They came back and they'd taken stuff out of there, right? With their minds. Everything was telepathic, no controls. So this is what Tesla taught Otis Carr, and this is what they're making. They make these ships now at Area 51. So what happened was that happened that day. The next day, Ralph said the men in black showed up, handed Otis Carr a piece of paper, handed Ralph Ring a piece of paper, said they could never talk to each other for the rest of their lives because this is against national security.
wow.
Well, because they would have free energy. It's a free energy device.
Yeah, you hear those stories all the time about the men in black showing up if you see something, or it's amazing how they seem to know what's going on.
Well, they know everything. Yeah. Why do you think maybe balloons went just you and I are just sitting here before you clicked on record. I didn't touch any buttons. You didn't touch any buttons. We're talking about something strange. What we're going to talk about here. Like I just told you, this guy here, Boyd, Anderson Boyd or whatever his name is, and all of a sudden these balloons go up. I'm like,
Right, you're right in front of the video. It was interesting.
where did they come from?
Balloons, they were very pretty.
Yeah. So
Knows. I mean, there's so many strange things going on right now. One
they
thing's
know everything we're doing. It's
every everything.
yeah.
Yeah. But well, do you have anything you'd like to say about the times we're living in that have you gotten any insights lately from some of the people you're in contact with? It seems like we're on the precipice or on the brink of some big event.
Yeah, this stuff's supposed to happen before Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I've
So
heard that.
let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
Okay. You've heard of the St. Valentine's Massacre. Well, this is
yeah.
going to
We'll
be
talk
even
about that.
crazier than that. It's going to
Right.
be a wake-up call for a lot of people on this planet.
Well, I
Um,
think an awful lot of people are waking up now. I'm having a
oh
different
yeah.
kind of conversation with a lot of my friends that always thought I was kind of a nut because I study metaphysics and spiritual healing and I mean I know you can heal yourself. I've
Yeah.
proven it over and over again, and I know you can be connected to your higher self and be guided. I've done that over and over again. So I think more and more people are going to find the 3D world maybe not as interesting as it used to be. And
Mhm.
then they'll want to go within more because where else are you going to go? If it's not happening out there, you better go within.
Well, that's what Jesus said. The kingdom of God is within you. We have to
Everything
learn.
is within, isn't now? I was listening to someone who was explaining that's why this is a hologram, because
Mhm,
we're full of light. We
mhm,
project the hologram, which is our thoughts, because we create with our minds and our thoughts and our imaginations. We study Neville Goddard and the New Thought religions. You're in the driver's seat, you're creating. So you're creating this hologram. And then there's this quantum physicist who was explaining, though, there also has to be, because you're interacting with other people,
mhm,
your hologram has to jive with the people that are in your life too, in a certain sense.
mhm.
So otherwise, we'd all be just creating our own world and we wouldn't even connect with each other.
Right,
It's
right.
very interesting, but
Yeah.
it truly is within. The kingdom is within. And
Yeah.
that's why people have visions. When they have near-death experiences, they go to another dimension.
Mhm,
Um, I've had an STE experience, a spiritually transformative experience, where I went to another dimension, but I didn't die. I just had a spontaneous healing. I woke up. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
And
Oh, that happens a lot. And you talk about these people having experiences, and this is a movie that we're in. And if
right,
you read Don Tony's book, I don't think you've read Universal Everlasting Life yet, but he tells you I talked about breath before. In between the breaths, okay, at that like the 2 second moment when you go inside and become that one, it's called the airless cell. That's when you can manifest things. That's when you take control of the movie and
right.
happen, right? So again, it's all in the breath. So there's a lot of information out there if people want to take the steps to learn it, but most
You
people
have to
don't.
have a desire. I mean, I've always had a desire to know the secrets of the universe,
Right.
but I have learned in my life's journey, not everybody's interested.
No. I watched another good one. You know, remote viewing. You used to do it. Matt,
Oh, yeah.
what's his name? John McGonigal. Yesterday, somebody sent me. It's a
Oh, he's
60.
fabulous. He was #1 US Army remote viewer.
Yes, number
He
one.
was
He
phenomenal.
speaks 6 hours. It just came out yesterday or the day
Oh,
before. Somebody sent
really?
it to me. You got to watch it. I'll send it to you.
Oh,
And he talks about all this, and at the end, he says, "You know what the problem is? Because he got everything. I mean, he tapped into everything around him that was happening. Okay,
right.
he found submarines and ships and whatever. People
He
couldn't
found a
believe.
general that had been kidnapped in Italy.
Yes, yes,
He went right to the room and found the guy in
right,
his consciousness.
right. And they were going to kill the guy, but he saved them. But
Right.
a long story short, what I'm saying about this is what you're just saying. People don't want to put the work in. People don't want to learn how to breathe.
Because they
People
can
don't
hear
want to
about it.
read the books. They don't want to do the research. Um, and going back to the scriptures, it says, study to show thyself acceptable unto God. A worker. You got to work at this stuff,
Got to work at it.
rightly
Yeah.
dividing the word of truth. So you start to understand this stuff, but you got to work at it. You can go to the football games, basketball game. What's coming up? The Super Bowl. Everybody's going to be drinking and partying. Yeah, you can do that, but you're not going to learn about the spiritual end of things. You can stay in the third dimension, or you can rise above, like Mother Earth is going to be doing, and going into 5D, or be stay behind. I don't know.
Well, I would highly recommend anybody who's living on planet Earth should dig into the information that's out there. And it's out there. It's so open now. I mean, when I first started studying this 60 years ago, I had to go to special metaphysical bookstores and the information was still fairly hidden. You had to seek it out. But it's out there now. You can get the books, you can get the videos, you can meet people that have done these things like Joe McDonagall. Um,
McGonagall.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a fascinating one. He ran the Monroe Institute for a while, where they
Yeah,
all teach you to go to the different levels.
he was, I think his wife has something to do with it, and they're
She
still
is,
helping.
yes, she I don't know if she was the daughter of Bob Monroe, but they met at the Monroe Institute and they worked there together for quite a while after
Right.
he left the military.
After
But
seeing that video yesterday, I want to go there.
oh yeah,
Huh?
well, they train CIA people there.
Yeah, I
That's the
could.
other thing I learned. There's a lot of remote viewers in countries all over the world working for governments.
Mhm.
Remote viewers work for police detectives when they have really difficult cases. They might call on a remote viewer to see what they can find out for them, and they get results. This is the other thing, though. Look at all the people that can't even believe that mental telepathy is real, but it is.
Yep.
Remote viewing is real.
Mhm.
Astral travel is real. All of these things are real. We are multidimensional beings.
Yep. Well, you remember, not to change the subject because it's kind of the same subject, remote viewing. You remember Frank? We did a video together.
Right.
Okay. Frank worked for the NSA years
Oh,
ago.
right. Right.
Okay. McGonagall worked there for like 30 years. Frank only stayed 4 years because he couldn't take anymore. But I something hit me when I watched that movie because McGonagall grew up in Miami in the, I don't want to say slums, but not
He
great
had a
area.
difficult childhood, which
Right.
makes for a good psychic because
Well,
they learn how to escape.
well, I'd like to talk to this guy and see if he knew Frank because Frank came over from Cuba and lived in Miami as a kid.
Oh,
And they
they
both
probably
worked
did.
for the NSA as remote viewers. What are the
Yeah.
chances of him? As you know, Frank passed away last year, and we did stuff at his memorial service, Gail and I. And so unless we go up in spirit and ask Frank, at least we got McGonagall. Maybe one day we can go to the Monroe Institute and I want to ask him if he knew Frank. That's what I
Yeah.
thought about when I'm seeing all this.
Yeah, I bet he does. He and
He
I were
probably
born the
grew up.
same year, Joe McGonigal and I.
Oh,
19,
really?
we were born the same year. Yeah.
Yep.
I read his
Yep.
biography. And I'll tell you, one of the interesting things he came up with, they were training remote viewers at Stanford University back in the day in the
Mhm.
70s.
Mhm.
SRI, they got funding to do it. But, a lot of the things that they had these remote viewers do were pretty negative. They even wanted them to use their minds to assassinate people. There was a
Mm.
movie made about that called something about goats. They had them staring
Yeah.
at a
Men who stare at goats or something like
and who
that.
stare at goats.
Yeah.
But that would kill off some of the remote viewers very prematurely because we are energy beings. And if you're filling yourself with negative energy,
It's all thought.
it's
It's
all
all here.
thought. That's why love is the vibration you want to focus on.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up because we've covered a lot of ground and that was very interesting.
You want to
But
say the name of your website, Inner Power?
yeah, Inner
In
Power Training is my website is rebeccatripp.com.
Right.
I'll put some links below. And I do highly recommend the book by Tony. The last name is Tony. We say that name of the
Uh,
book again.
Donald M. Tony. Remember DMT. You know what DMT is? Our pineal gland secretes it. That's the messenger for the spiritual end of our body. That's the God particle. DMT. Donald M. Tony. Is there any coincidences on this planet why his name is DMT? And you know who he is and what he came
Yeah,
here for.
yeah, he's
I
very,
won't
he's
get
very
in,
aware,
I won't
very aware.
get into that. Yeah. We're already pretty woo-woo on this planet, both
All
you
right.
and I.
Well, thank you, Chad. That was really interesting. And I'll be posting it soon.